afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all okay. I'm here at home today, working as ever, but of course I have company with Benji and Finley, although I'm not sure if Finley's company or annoying, if I'm honest, but never mind, it's all good. Weather outside's okay, it's all nice in here, so let's make a start, shall we? And I thought, being that I got the musical background stencil and they're all coming out to you, I thought I'd use a little bit of that in the background. I've inked a little bit of blue at the top and a little bit of pink at the bottom. And there you've got those lovely kind of, there you go, look, little notes in there as well. So let's make a start, shall we? Pen, pencils, everything else that's handy. And of course, I know there's quite a lot of new people coming on recently and kind of asking what it is we do. I think primarily it's about teaching you to draw, and it does it in a fun manner and a mindful manner, and then it sort of gives you the confidence to go into using the stencils. So what are the stencils for? They give you the shapes or the structure, and along with the instructions, allow you to draw things you didn't think would ever be possible. So it's not about drawing around something and simply filling it in with whatever pattern or colour you want to do. This is about you actually drawing. So with that in mind and that said, I've got something today I thought we could have a go at. So here we go, pencil at hand. And I do have a ruler. It's not my red ruler. It's downstairs where I've been working on the kitchen table out the way. Oh, no. That's Finley looking at his own image in the mirror because he's been cut this week and he looks a little bit different than last time he looked in the mirror. Okay, pencil then. I've got a bit of a straight edge and I'm going to go about, I don't know, a third of the way up. Let's give myself a bit of a mark. It just gives me a starting point. And if I turn that to one side, I'm going to kind of put in some little sort of curves like that. I'll come back to that in a short while. It's just that we've got that kind of in and started. Let's bring that round. Like so. Okay. He's just looking at himself in the mirror. It's hilarious. Well, it wasn't a minute ago. There was wadding all over the floor because he decided he'd found a piece and he was going to tear it to pieces and try and eat it. All right, here we go then. So I want to I'm going to bring myself a line up. Now, if you want to do it the other way, that's fine. But I'm going to start here and I'm going to kind of come up and give myself a curve there. So a little bit of let's have a look. A bit of a sketch me out, you see. I'm doing it nice and lightly. So if I need to, I can change it about. Let's put a little curve there like so. Okay, let's go a bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing. See how light it is? That's because if I need to change it, I can do so. All right, so I'm going to come down here and kind of back in there. Okay, so I'm not too far sort of close to the edge. I want to do something else here, so that kind of gives me that bit. I think though I can afford to go a bit bigger. So again, this is when you can look at it and think, okay, let's go with that. Bring you one of my little trusty little cut-off rubbers in. We've got that shape. Okay, everybody okay so far? So with that in mind then, I'm going to put in an oval shape here. Sort of resting on that there. And there we go. In there like that. All right, happy with that. Okay. And then here, let's come back. I want to have a little bit of a curve here and it's going to come in. Let's have a look. Like so, in and out. You see, I've made that little change slightly there. And put that curve in. Maybe not go so far. And a little bit of a shape there. Look at that. So far, so good. So, you see, I've got this curve here. I'm going to put it in here as well. And let's have a look. Kind of just sort of give it that shape. Okay. Oh, might make that a bit smaller. You know, this is the thing. I really wanted you to see how, I kind of draw to sort of go with. You put something in and then you can make amendments. If you worry about putting it on the paper, you're never quite going to get anything on there because it's never going to be right, is it? Okay, you see what it kind of is now? All right, let's give it a bit of a triangle nose. Don't know if you're watching Sewing Street this morning. Stuart was doing a block of this little creature. Bit of a smile, like. Let's have little lines there. I'm going to put whiskers in after, where I'll do that in pen, I think. It's got the main thing there. So it needs a tail, doesn't it? And of course, the tail, you could go either way. You could go up, but I'm going to come down. But, you know, it's your choice. Here we go. So it's going to come all along. See, I'm kind of sketching it out. I want it to be quite long, and it's going to sort of come over here. So I'm really making a feature of it. Okay. All right. So far, so good. And let's double that up. And bring that in. See, it's sort of following it round. Okay. Look at that. What a tail. All right. Okay. So let's have a look then. Let's have a look at this little bit underneath before we do anything in pen. So I'm going to come back, and you see where I've got these like curves. I want to put myself another line in here and sort of join them up. So let's have a look. There's no excuse for me not being straight today because it's got pieces on there. Right, you see what I've done here? Look, I've joined them together, and then I've put another line a bit closer underneath. And I'm going to come in and put a little curve on the end like so. Okay. And again, I'm going to not do anything with that. Do it in pen later. And then I want to put in a bit of a ground just to help me out. So let's check that that's level. And in we go. And then I want to put legs on this. So let's put a bit of a line there, look at a line there. So some of that's going to be hidden behind the tail, which is a good thing because, you know, as much as I do, it's very rare you get something exactly the same on both sides. So here goes then. I'm going to come in with a kind of a curved line like that. And looking at it here, similar. But again, I don't need to worry too much because I've got that in the way. And it's sort of just a little bubble on the bottom. Another one, bubble on the bottom. And then I'm going to come back up, creating a kind of a real fancy sort of leg there on that little stool. Okay, so let's get this in pen. So regular 03 fine liner, same as ever. And let's draw in. So the ears, I'm going to come a little bit further in, and then it's going to touch there like that. So, okay, so it looks like a bit's coming forward. And instead of drawing the oval as is, I'm going to give it a little bit of a wobble, like so. Let's go in a little bit with this. And here I want to sort of come a little bit further out. See, further out, and then come back in. And again, it's got a bit of a wobble on it. You're not going to see much there because it's leaning on its front paws. And let's put a little nose in. I'm going to fill that in. And then curl, like so. Okay, let's put some whiskers in there. I'm going to turn it this way because I find putting like flicks in a lot easier. Going up bank, it's whatever works for you. Okay, and I'm going to put a couple little flicks like in the ears, like so. So let's draw in this shape here. So I'm going to I'm going to go all the way up there, but I'm going to draw that little paw in and bring it round. And of course, where that line stops, I'm going to just add in a couple of little dots there. And let's draw in the rest. You see, I've not sort of joined those two lines together because I'm going to put that tail in there. And along here, see, I'm going to make that a little bit thinner. Of course, you can make your fat your cat as fat as you like, as thin as you like. It's whatever you want to do. Let's have a little look at it. Okay, tail. Let's put this tail in. So as long as you're happy with it, you'll get that tail in, because it's quite a bit of a wobble. There's quite a bit of a wave going on. So, you know, start and stop it a little bit as you go. Doesn't always have to be the exact thickness all the way up either. And if you wanted to, you could make this into a bushy tail rather than a straight one like I've got. You could just flit lines rather than have a straight edge. And then let's put this little cushion in here. So you see, I'm going to come in and just draw in those shapes there. I'm going to put that curve on the end, and then I'll bring that straight edge back in and draw that in underneath like that. Same on that one. Okay, so see where we've got these little spaces there? I'm going to sort of put a little bubble on. I'm going to fill it in because they're quite small, so that's okay. And I'm going to bring some flicks out. Sort of 3, 2 on either, or 1 on either side. And kind of in the middle. Gives a bit of something there. And then of course the legs, and they've got kind of, I'd say almost, it's on casters, isn't it? Let's put a little bubble inside it. Might as well do that while I'm here on that one. And up, creating that other shape. Okay, so we've got our little cat there. We do need a bit of ground, and I'm not going to do a full line here. I'm going to slightly wave it a little bit. There you go, it's something a bit different. So I've got something where that's sitting on. Okay, so let's bring in, let's have a look. I want to sort of hang something dangling here. So I'm going to put a little line because that's where it's going to be. And then I'm going to put myself a picture frame in. So my picture frame is going to be a little bit sort of slanted. Or shall I go that way? I'm going to go that way because being that something's hanging off it, it's going to be a bit heavier if I do it that way. There you go. If I'm happy with that, I'll put my lines in there. So that's my main sort of frame shape. Okay. So let's go ahead and put that in with pen. So here we go. That's quite a good ruler actually, because it's got loads of measurements on it. And I can line it up with all sorts. Okay, around again. It's nice to keep that quite straight. The line, not the frame, of course. And then I'm going to come in and do sort of a little kind of a frame in there. Like so. Okay, so let's have a little look in there, because what I would like to do is I'm going to do some little flowers in the sort of the distance here. So I'm going to go swirl. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now these are going to be small. 4, 5. And if you can't fit 5 in, that's fine. Just fit in what you can. Doesn't matter which way round you go. See, they're getting smaller. So almost there's sort of like a bit of a swirl going off in the background there. A few little dots. See? Little swirls and dots. And then let's sort of join these flowers. And then here we're going to come in and put some little kind of flicks. So it looks almost meadow-like, doesn't it? It's almost sitting in there. Okay, and then just sort of have an extra line there, so it looks like, you know, it's a little bit three-dimensional, just down that side as well. Okay, and let's have a look. I'm going to put some curves in the corner as well, give it a little bit more interest there. So let's have a look at this line. Now I'm going to turn my piece upside down, so my line's still there, and I'm going to bring pencil in, And sort of part way down here, I'm going to sort of bring in a bit of an oval shape. See? But I'm not going to worry about putting that top bit in. And then another oval shape, bit smaller, look. Look at that. We know what this is. Bringing my pen back in. I'm going to give it a little ear. And then there's a little head, a little nose. Let's give it some whiskers. And instead of having the line here, I'm going to kind of have the tail. So it looks like it's sort of coming off, hanging over the frame there. And now let's put the body in. Yeah, let's have its little back legs. We're just going to do little stick legs, look. Little V shape. Right, that shape there. If we turn it round, look, got our little mouse. Let's put two little dots so we can sort of see it's got eyes. Look at that. Okay, so let's have a look then. Going back with pencil, I'm going to put myself a bit of a bubble there. You see, just sort of wander around. And let's, I'm not going to draw the whole thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of lines across it like this. Let's go in a bit so you can see what I'm doing. And then see, instead of flattening the end, I'm going to put like a little curve on it. So let's do another one. So do a line like that. And then I'm going to put a little curve on the top. So they're all going to kind of go in different directions. See there, I can put curves on top and the bottom there. Let's do one there. And there, look. So we want to sort of fill this shape in if we can. All going in different directions. Some you're going to sort of, just do a little bit in. A little bit of a ball of wool going on there. See there, I can pretend there's one or two. A few lines there. And then what I want to do here is I'm going to go sort of underneath. Here we go. Underneath there. And I'm going to have like, it's almost like a little bit of a trail of wool coming off that ball. Okay, see how it sort of wobbles at the end there? Onto the floor. Right, so it's looking good so far. And back to pencil, because if there's a ball of wool, there's going to be some knitting somewhere. So here I'm going to sort of have part of a a little bit of something that's possibly being knitted. And then maybe, now I don't know, when my mum was, when I was younger, my mum used to always put the needles sort of into the, whatever it was she was doing, or into the ball of wool. So how we're going to make this happen? Going to have a little curve there, look like this. So it looks like it's going in. And then these little knitting needles. And you can get all sorts now, can't you, with all different things on the end. My mum used to use the metal ones, used to clatter. And then here, let's do like a wave. Let's do a few of them, look. So you missed that one, put one in there, see, so you're going to follow that through. And then turn it this way, and I'm going to kind of interweave it in between. I'm not worried about going over and under with this one. It's kind of just a gesture there that we've got something going. So of course this ball of wool is attached to that somehow. The little mice is on the case. I'll put a couple of little lines there and there. Let's have a little look at that. Okay, so far so good. Like little cards. All right, so let's have a look if I can rub some of my pencil lines out now, so we can give it a bit of a clear. Now, is the mouse going to wake up? Or so the cat going to wake up and catch the mouse? Do you, Rose? I did do a little bit of knitting. I don't get time to do it. I've done a bit of most crafts. I've not crocheted. That is one thing I've not done. I've not crocheted. I have got a kit. I brought a Toft kit at Christmas last year. And it is sat there looking at me. So at some point, we'll have a go. Sure can work it out. Okay. There you go. Look. Clean the mouse up. All right. Danger mouse. Didn't he used to have a patch over one eye? Oh. Okay, let's have a look then. So we want to have something sort of in the background here. So I think the best thing to do is a little bit of a border. So it's almost like a frame or a picture within a picture, isn't it? But I am using my straight edge for this. Oh, do you, Rhea? I've got the snowman. I was going to make it. I'm a bit busy. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so I'm going to put some sort of stripy wallpaper in. So I'm going to use my straight edge. And you think, well, okay, let's have a look at this. If I start putting stripy paper in all over the place, we're going to lose the front picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of line it up. Oh, Janet. I'm sure I'm one of these people that learn by doing, you know, sort of watching somebody else and then doing. So reading isn't necessarily I can do it, of course, because I do write instructions, but I'd rather look at pictures. Or actually, my favourite is actually watching somebody do it, because you get the hang of it easy then. You see what I've done? Look, I've put these stripes, but you see how I've done dotted lines? Now, of course, if you've got a grey pen or a different colour pen, then you could use that. Or you could mix it up and use lots of different colours. You see, I'm not going to try and make my wallpaper the same level of stripes all the way along, see? So I'm going to, on purpose, look, change the thickness. And that means I don't have to worry if they're not all level. You know, sometimes, you know, when you start and you find you end up with the same pattern. So I always look like I start with a long line rather than a short one. Turn it round. Do it the other way, and then what you'll find is you'll start to get a little bit of a different pattern, and that's the best way of kind of looking at it. I'll put a real close one there, look. See, so getting a little bit of design in the background. Just join that one to it, you know, and that just helps you sort of mix and match and change it up a bit. Let's go there. Okay, and I'm going to come in with put some like faux stitch lines down the edge of a couple of them, just to give it a bit more interest. I don't want to start going down and putting all birds on there. Oh, I did once. Oh, I must have, a long time ago, going to a mate's house, you know, after being to a nightclub, and my mate had just met this lad, and he invited, you know, her and a few others back for drinks. And I was like, oh, okay, I was the designated driver, so you can imagine they were all a little bit tipsy, and I'm certainly not. So we went to this lad's house, and, you know, he's like, oh, sit down, I'll get a drink. So we all sat down, and I looked at his wallpaper, and I thought, there's something wrong with that wallpaper. It's really, I don't even get it. I don't know what it is. What is it? I mean, you know, because it's like, you've got a side light on, it's dark, and I looked closer, and it was bright, like a mid-sea blue green, and it got bright orange and yellow parrots on it. And it wasn't just, he'd like got one strip and the parrots were the right way round, and the next strip the parrots were upside down, so nothing matched. And then you'd got parrots the right way and parrots upside down. And it's just amazing, isn't it, that something sticks so much for all those years. I thought, I couldn't believe it. His wallpaper was just completely mad, and he just didn't seem to care. He was quite happy with it. I was like, oh, fair enough, fair enough. Putting some curls in there. Let's add some little dots. I bet you've all got stories to tell. I bet that Maureen's got stories to tell when she was a youngster. Mind you, now, to be fair, she's trouble, isn't she? Okay, let's have a look at this then. So I think I'm gonna come in with pencil, and then I'm gonna add a touch of colour over it. So for a little bit of detail, I'm gonna stick with this one. Yes, Maureen, I know. So let's have a little bit of pencil, sort of, I don't know, down by the nose here, look. Okay, let's go in a bit. Oh, there we go. And it's kind of along the top there, see? And then sort of just a bit. See, I'm not touching the edge. I'm coming up that side there, and I want some in there. Down there. Okay. Oh, Wendy. Do you know, I can remember being 18 and I brought my mum all the wool and a pattern and the knitting needles. And I said, Mum, will you knit me this, please? And I still haven't got it. I don't know what she's doing with it. I don't know why. She used to knit a lot. It's never took her this long to knit a jumper. So, Mum, if you're watching, where's my jumper? It was red. Okay. So let's have a little bit of softness. I want to try and sort of shape it around the face there. See? So it's got a little bit of something to it. I don't want to sort of completely fill it all, but it's got a little bit of something. Chris, I'd love to be, you know, on time and do a bit of knitting. I don't have time. I have time to do other things though, like make really nice stencils and do loads of different designs and create new fabrics. That's really nice. I'm a bit addicted to quilts. I do like making quilts. Although I have actually brought some denim because Hayley West I asked Hayley because she sold out if she had any more patterns. So I purchased a denim jacket pattern from her. So I'm absolutely 100% committed to making that. But I want to do a little bit of my own fabrics in with it as well. So, you know, it's going to... Let's have a look at that. See, it's got a little bit there. So I am going to make that. Oh, Wendy, that's good. I used to make clothes for my doll. I was a Cindy girl. Sure, I don't know if I've still got it or I got rid of it a couple of years ago. But it's one of those things that you tend to keep, isn't it? Really long blonde hair mine had. See, I'm adding a little bit of pencil just to some of these lines. I don't want to make a big thing of the paper. It's just about having a little bit of something in the background. It's the foreground I'm into. Or I want it to be sort of most noticed. Oh, Jackie. I know, you mean, sometimes you do, I'm a bit like that because if I've got small bursts now and again of time, and if I can't get something done and finished in that amount of time, then it kind of gets left and it's frustrating. I actually used to make, I say used to, because I've been on Hobby Maker, haven't I, for Christmas Day for the past 3 years? But every Christmas Day, I used to make a ragdoll. Because, you know, it was just a day where John and I just settle in and, you know, do what we wanted, watch a bit of TV and that kind of thing. And I'd actually make a ragdoll in a day. You know, he'd sit there and, you know, just be on his iPad doing whatever it is he wanted to do, and I'd be doing what I wanted. And, you know, and then when I got the bits ready, he'd turn them out for me, I'd turn them the right way around. He's good at that. So, yeah. So that's quite nice to do. Well, I haven't made one because I've obviously been a bit busy on Christmas Day. So, okay, so you see here, look, I've got these lovely sort of this little seat sort of sitting there. Where my cat's sat round. Oh, did you, Maureen? We'll have to compare notes. We'll have to get them out the loft and take a photo. Right, let's bring just a touch of colour in. For sure, I want to bring a little bit of my Sanntangle red in here. So I'm not holding it here. Look, Chris, I don't think I can do. If I'm doing nothing, I just go sleep. That's it. Always something on the go. Always. All right, so you can see how, look, I'm not particularly going in heavy. All right, let's bring a bit of pink in. I'm going to swirl that round. See, the thing is, if we go in too heavy with this, it's going to sort of take over the cat. So what colour cat are we going to have? I'm going to put a bit of colour in. Sorry, I know I'm saying, I've always been the same. It's never changed with me. Always something. Oh, Chris, no, there's not. No, there's not going to be a knitting or a crochet pattern from me. No. I've done some new clothes for Mackenzie. They're quite nice. I've done a flat cap. I know some of you are asking for that. So I've got a flat cap pattern. Of course, some summer shorts and a nice little Hawaiian shirt. I've been working on that, so a few different bits and pieces. And a lot of our pieces, you know, would turn really well to embroidery or free motion, wouldn't they? So I'm going to have a little bit of a look at that, I think. So what did we think of the glitter? Did we like? It's I've been using it for a few months because, of course, been trying it out. It's okay. Oh, Joe, I know what you mean. Sometimes, do you watch? I mean, sometimes, you know, if I'm at the office, I'll actually watch Sewing Street. And I do watch Sewing Street. It's always on in the background, but you sort of feel like you've got a familiar voice there, you know, and it's somebody like just in the next room. So even if I'm not sitting there, you know, watching it, I can still hear what's going on. All right, okay, what we're going to do with this, I'm going to have some sort of colours going off here. So we want to make out that this is all connected. Oh, thank you, Faye. Do you know what? It goes ever such a long way. On its own. Oh, I don't want to put black in. I picked a purple up and then didn't look. It was okay. See, just sort of, I'm not even trying to sort of really colour it in. I just want to have a little bit of colour in there. Oh, Rose, it's still covered. He's still covered in it. It's in my car. It's all over his nose. There's a bit of it. All right, see, look at that. So what we're going to do with the mouse now, are you going to colour yours grey? I'm not. I'm going to come in. I'm going to go a bit of peach. Usually do like a pink mouse after the sugar mice. A bit of peach there, look. Let's have a few flowers. Yellow there. And I'm going to do the knitting needles. A little bit of yellow there. You can get all colours now, can't you? So, okay, a bit of the frame round there. Let's go, let's have a look. Traditional-ish. Oh, Rose, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? That just means your pots would be open, don't it? Now, when you get your pots, there is sellotape all around the seal. Because I was quite adamant about that when it was being made. I said, please seal the pots. But I didn't want it to look nasty, you know. Please seal the pots because I don't want any coming out till you get it home. So just take your time with it. They were a really nice screw-on lid as well. All right, I'm going to bring just a little bit of brown sugar in there just to give me a little burnishing on that frame. And then my cat's decisions. Now, usually colouring it in a black cat would be my go-to, but because I've got a little bit of black in there already, I'm going to go with a slightly different colour. So I think, I don't know, maybe I'm going to go a bit marmalade-y. So I've got a bit of teak. I've got a little bit of my clementine look. See, look, those two. And let's have a look. Probably a little bit of peach in there as well. Might be light peach. So a few there to play with. Let's have a look then. So my darker colour that I'm going to put where I've put a little bit of Tortillon action. See, I'm not going to overdo it. I'm just not going to colour my cat in. Just giving it a little hint of colour, see? And because I've already put the Tortillon over it, and I've already got that little bit of shading going on. I can get away with doing little bits. So where you think, oh my goodness me, she's going to put orange on a cat. See, just sort of nice and gently add a little bit in, just where that pencil is. There's no worries about trying to blend it or anything like that. There you go, see, just a little bit of colour that hints. And your mind's going to make up the rest. Okay, a little bit on the tail, look. You know, cats are all different, aren't they, anyway? So, all right, a bit of, I've got light peach here. Just going to sort of gently sort of work that over. And I mean lightly, you know, it's the colours showing. It doesn't need to be sort of blended in, anything like that. Of course, you know, we want a little bit of texture anyway with a cat. So. Okay. Okay. And I'm just going to put a touch of blue in the sky over there. It does look like you're having a right nice sleep. But apparently it is International Cat Day today. So I thought we'd celebrate by drawing a cat. It's not the first one we've done. I do need to draw a dog, don't I? I mean, we're avid dog lovers. I've got two myself and I've not drawn a dog yet. So maybe that one will come. Maybe I'll sort that one. So there we go. There's our cat having a little bit of sleep there after maybe a night out. Playing with a bit of ball of wool. And of course the mouse is coming down, having a bit of a sneak. See if he can pick up on anything. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. And there we go. So you can see it. And, you know, it'd make a fantastic little card topper, wouldn't it? Or you could actually, I know we've talked about it, you could embroider this on. It's pretty easy to do, isn't it? Not too tricky there. So, other than that, have a lovely weekend, everybody. I think we're out and about. We've got the, obviously, the new office place to be painting and things. Bit of carpet coming for one of the offices next week. And we're going to be moving week beginning the 18th of August. And the main day for moving is going to be that Saturday, which is at the 23rd. So, yeah, because I'm on Hobby Maker on bank holiday. But we're going to be moving 23rd. So, the van, we're going to have a van there. So, if anybody wants to come and give us a hand, we can, you know, we could do with anybody making a cup of tea, a little bit of cleaning, moving some boxes, anything. You want to come and spend the day and have a little bit of little bit of work but a little bit of fun at the same time, it would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, other than that, have a great one, everybody. Have a lovely weekend, and I will catch up with you next week on Tuesday for our next tile. So see you then. Bye.